fold and actually make himself heard in the situation. So for right now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to play at least what Stephen A. had to say about the situation, and then we will actually discuss it. This will be from
ESPN or his podcast?
His podcast.
Oh, Silly Times.
I'm going to try to at least like abridge it, maybe like play at least like maybe like 5 minutes of it, so that we can actually have a bit of a take on what was said. All right, here we go.
Now let's get to a subject that's apparently gone viral on social media today, and it also involves yours truly. Last night I was in attendance at the Knicks-Lakers game, sitting courtside, where during a timeout, I believe it was in the third quarter, I was confronted by none other than LeBron James himself. LeBron had some choice words for me in regards to comments I've made prior about him in regards to his son, Bronny James. Before I get any further, let me just put to bed a couple of things that have been reported that are false. People was talking about LeBron called me out my name, or I saw somebody said he called me a bitch. Somebody said he called me a punk and all this. None of that is true. He was fiery. He approached me during the game and he said, "Stop effing with my son. That's my effing son. Stop effing with my son." I said, "What? Nah, man, straight up, man to man. Real talk. Stop effing with my son." And I saw how furious he was. And I said, "We can talk about it later." "Nah, F that. Stop effing with my son. That's my son. I said, "All right, dog. Fine." And he walked away. That's all he said. I knew what he was talking about. I've spoken about this before. Matter of fact, I heard that not many, not all, but a few players were upset at me about that. I think one player in particular was Draymond Green, who I haven't spoken to since and has no desire to speak to me primarily because of this, I suppose. And I found out the way that I found out, which was last night while I was at the game. I was a guest of Ari Emanuel, owner of William Morris Endeavor, founder of William Morris Endeavor, rather. Founder of Endeavor, before they merged with William Morris. And I was a guest of his, sitting at the game with him and Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm. I was sitting courtside, and the next thing you know, out of the blue, LeBron came in my face. Obviously, since he brought up his son, he was piggybacking off of what I had said weeks ago. And what I had said weeks ago is that when Bronny James was struggling, and I threw out some stats and stuff like that, and I said he's not ready. And then I came on this podcast and I reiterated that point. Clearly, it was something that was on LeBron James' mind.
All right.
So is he backing down or what? Stephen A?
Well, he seemed to imply he is.
Okay, so just based off of, what is this, 3 minutes of a 27-minute video, I'm not going to be playing the entirety of the video.
Yes.
I think we got the actual gist of the situation. What is everyone's thoughts about the confrontation that happened between LeBron and Stephen A? Now, it'll also bring up the bigger question on media critique when it comes to players.
I'm going to say I don't know if we got the gist, because Stephen A. Smith is not the only individual to ridicule Bronny James. Until he hit the G League, that pretty much happened on a nightly basis or every other nightly basis, and I think he's a professional basketball player. He can be critiqued. when Russell Westbrook was being critiqued, his mom, hey, he's a professional basketball player. You're getting paid millions of dollars. I think that comes with the territory.
Right.
So
And
I don't see how LeBron critique of Bronny justifies LeBron telling Stephen A. Smith he can't critique Bronny. I think there's something else there.
okay, if I got we can play a little bit more just to see if I got if there's a deeper.
I can tell you what I heard actually started this.
Okay, if I got let's go with what you heard. What you heard through the grapevine.
It's the fact that Stephen A. Smith was critiquing LeBron as a father that led to this. So, like I said, Stephen A. Smith is not the only sports analyst to critique Bronny James. He's not the second, third, or fourth. It's literally dozens, if not hundreds, of individuals have been critiquing Bronny James. So
I think we've all
critiqued Bronny James.
Bronny James.
So,
like literally, if everyone that's been in the sports media has critiqued Bronny James.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to him being quote unquote nepotism, when it comes to being a part of the NBA, whether or not he's ready to be in the NBA. That's why I think we all said here last year when talking about him getting drafted to the NBA, going to the Lakers. We all, I believe we all said that like he needs to be in the G League to actually get himself ready for the actual NBA.
Oh, it definitely started before he came into the league.
Thank you.
Can I comment on Stephen A? Please?
Go ahead.
I'm
Identify yourself first, sir.
Identify yourself.
I'm Van Douglas.
Okay.
Okay.
And what else?
And I'm the number one Laker hater.
Thank you, sir.
Who's your team?
I'm a Sixer fan. They sorry. They call AD street clothes. Embiid is running a close second.
Thank you for taking Paul George, by the way.
I will say
appreciate it.
we are sorry.
Man, you're welcome.
We are sorry for Paul George. We are sorry for Paul George.
But when it comes to Stephen A, I think the problem that people have with Stephen A is that Stephen A, he lied about playing.
Yes.
He bashes Kawhi Leonard as the worst superstar in the league. That was his words. Okay. For a guy that's never played before, aka Stephen A, okay, for you to critique somebody, he'll tell you in a minute, I got bad knees. I got a screw in my knee. I got this, that. How many knee surgeries has Kawhi Leonard had and he's still playing in the NBA?
He's had at least like 3.
Exactly. So when Stephen A speaks on what he speaks on, this is why this is why him and Jason Whitlock, they go at it, because Jason Whitlock did the research and forced Stephen A to admit that he never played. But you sat on national TV and said you played. These players know what's up. You know, if it's other basketball players that played the game, Jalen Rose, Richard Jefferson, and those guys, you know, people can hear those guys because they was out there playing.
Or
Richard
even
Jefferson played against LeBron.
Right, or even to even make it more inclusive, on some of the women that are from the WNBA that are now analysts on ESPN.
Well, you know what? I gotta give props to Monica McNutt, because she got in his behind on national TV. Say before Caitlin Clark came to the game, and nothing against Caitlin Clark. She a pretty good girl. She bad, okay? But Stephen, like Monica was saying, well, before Caitlin Clark came on the scene, y'all barely talked about the WNBA.
Right.
Great players
Absolutely.
in it like Diana Taurasi, Maya Moore, I forgot Candace Parker.
Brittany Griner. In fact,
You go back to Cheryl Swoops,
Yep.
and Cynthia Cooper, and Tina
Lisa
Thompson,
Leslie.
Lisa Leslie. They
That's who I think
didn't
is
get
the
the coverage, and those were players who carried that game. They didn't get the coverage that they're trying to get the WNBA coverage on.
Now, is that more or less because of their own fault on just being able to advertise themselves? Because the skill set was there, but there wasn't a machine behind it to actually advertise them. The NBA literally has funded them the entire time that they've been a net negative for the past 20 years.
Well, you know, the WNBA girls that are playing, right?
Right.
They don't have a what you want to say written ticket. They got to play hard every night for people to tune in and watch.
Right.
You see that whereas
If I can interrupt you, man, they also play a better
Who are
team.
you, sir?
Hugh from Boston. They have a better game, team-wise, than the NBA does.
yeah,
And I think the timing, which you're asking, Rashid, I think it was the timing. The timing was right.
yeah,
The timing was right, especially when you have injuries, Kalen Clark, you have these hot rookies that played well in the NCAA tournament, had a bit of a rivalry within the NCAA tournament, which we still don't really talk about, like the actual champions of that, which was South Carolina. We still don't really talk about them. We talk about
If
you watch them play, you don't have to talk
South
about it.
Carolina.
right. But it's like we still talk about Dan Staley because she's a legend.
Mm-hmm.
She's a legend within just basketball in general. So it's like, and their game speaks for itself. We talk about USC. We'll talk about Juju Watkins because we see her as when she comes to the draft. There's gonna be noise that's gonna be made. We talk about the girl that I believe that's in UConn. I believe that's Paige Buckers.
Paige Beckers.
Yeah.
Right.
Paige Beckers, which like she's gonna make noise in the league. We talk about the co-star,
Those are probably the first two picks of the draft. Which
Right.
You just named.
right? And then we talk about the co-star that played alongside Angel Reese in LSU that has stayed behind. I believe
Flo
Johnson.
Flo Johnson.
So
that's who it
something Johnson. More punches from Carson. Before we forget, because I'm going to bring it back to Stephen A. Smith, but you made a really good point because you have that Larry Bird. Everything you said about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, except these guys actually won the championship. One of these guys actually won the championship. It's the same thing as Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Absolutely.
And that was
Yeah.
the NBA.
Sure,
It's the
I
same.
agree.
The NBA was drug riddled. It was about to, I guess, go bust. They had Doc and they had Bill Walton, but they didn't have the ratings. And these two guys come in, and from that point on, it's been nothing but straight vertical for the NBA
Literally
until now, with
strapped-
Anthony Edwards and crew. But okay,
Literally strapped a rocket ship.
and there you go.
And there you go. It's the same effect. It's just we're now experiencing that now for the WNBA. What I once again, you had the legends, you had the players for the NBA back then, but things
But it
started
had to be founded on something. So
Right.
there was a foundation. So I'll be honest, it's somewhat insulting to me because I actually followed the WNBA and I watched the 3-time Houston Rockets and I watched
Comments.
Candace
You mean
win
the
hers.
comments.
Actually, four
Houston,
times.
my bad, Houston Comets, my bad. But they were 4-time?
It was
Wow,
four
Yeah,
times.
okay.
yeah, 4-time.
But yeah, so you watch those, and I
the
can't say I've been
Sparks
watching them
were
recently. I think
3-time.
I fell out when Maya Moore was around and came back. But I watched the WNBA for solid 10 years. I wasn't even really watching the NBA a whole lot because, Kobe left. But anyway, it was just
Well,
a
speaking
fun.
of Kobe,
Yeah.
listen, I'm not sure I was kind of late coming to my own show. This is the first show of the new season, the Laker Hater Show. And for 16 years, we had a show called The Laker Lovers and Laker Haters. I figured after about 15 years, I was tired of that shit. I was done. I want to switch gears. I want to get back on course of what this production is all about.
Right.
I mean, I appreciate you all bringing up the girl, the history of Larry and Magic. But this show here was actually formed at least 10 years ago in my head. I planted this seed 10 years ago when I saw two individuals, the #1 Laker hater and Hugh from Boston. When I saw these two guys interact doing the Laker Lover, Laker Hater show, I said, that's a show right there. These two guys here, they can hold it down. Laker Hater show, this is basically all we need. We got Mo Punches. He was punched on a lot. He got his nickname from Marv, right?
Yeah, yes, I did.
Yes, you got
from
your
Misfire.
nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah, Misfire.
Yeah.
So this is the reason why we're having this discussion now. Starting today, our show is going to be called For Laker Haters Only. That's it.
I tell you what.
If anybody call that number and they talking about they love the Lakers, hang up on them for me, sir, Mr. Engineer. Please hang up on them. But you can also give the number out so the Laker haters can call up. We might need to get some callers and say, get that number out.
All right, so
Well, wait, let me say this, okay? We was talking. We got a lot of stuff to get to.
oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm gonna mention one name, and everybody gonna go up and
I probably already have.
Everybody gonna go up in the storm. Charles Barkley.
I did.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's been going at it, especially because since Inside the NBA was acquired, I believe, by ESPN. So this is like Inside the NBA's final, I believe, year
Yeah.
On
with-
TNT.
on TNT. And so Charles Barkley, he's had some choice words, especially when it came, because he had a criticism of the Lakers
And Kendrick Perkins.
and Kendrick
Yes,
Perkins.
absolutely.
Why don't
So-
you criticize Kendrick Perkins? I mean, he's the perfect analyst.
I'm gonna
I
tell you
totally
why.
agree.
He never gets anything wrong.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Number one,
And
let's
who are you,
look
sir?
at Charles.
So what's your name?
I'm Van Douglas. Okay, number one Laker hater.
Thank you.
Okay, number one, right? Charles Barkley played against better competition than Perk played against.
No joke.
Charles Barkley's a Hall of Famer. Charles Barkley, if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, he's in the same boat as Patrick Ewing and
Clyde Drexler.
Drexler and Stockton and Malone.
Sean
All
Kemp.
of them got something in common. They never won a championship because of Jordan.
Right.
Okay? Hey, but Perkins averaged 5 points a game, and he had the nerve to say he was the glue of Oklahoma City when they had Durant, James Harden, Westbrook, and Ibaka, right? That's why Charles Barkley gets on Perkins as tough as he does.
All right, so let me actually play both sides of that story.
Go ahead.
Let's go.
I saw a fool idiot on TV talking about the Lakers save the NBA.
Save the NBA.
Yeah. He's an idiot and a fool, but he know who he is. What's his name, Shaq?
Which one you talking about? There's a lot of
Kendrick
fools out
Perkins.
there. Oh,
He said the Lakers.
Man. So it's looking like we got some beef kick-started from Charles Barkley, man. Charles Barkley went off, called out ESPN live on Inside the NBA on TNT. And we all know they are going to be ending over there soon, right? And Charles Barkley said that, hey, we're going to be working for these fools pretty soon, talking about ESPN. And he had called out Kendrick Perkins. Kendrick Perkins reacted to that. But before I show what Kendrick Perkins said, I do have Stephen A. Smith reaction as well. So let me play the audio clip of what Charles Barkley said on Inside the NBA on TNT, calling out Kendrick Perkins and ESPN. And then I'll show you guys what Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins said in reaction. So don't click off the video once I show you guys this Charles Barkley clip, because Kendrick Perkins went off, damn near threatened Charles Barkley to a fist fight, if you ask me. And I would like to get you guys' opinion on that as well. So let's check out this clip of what Charles Barkley said that's got everything in a frenzy right now. Here's a clip right here.
I saw a fool idiot on TV talking about the Lakers save the NBA.
save the NBA.
Yeah. He's an idiot and a fool, but he know who he is. What's his name, Shaq?
Which one you talking about? There's a lot of
Kendrick
fools out
Perkins.
there. Oh,
He said the Lakers. First of all, the Lakers have had a great 2 weeks. He said the Lakers saved the NBA season. That's because them fools on the other network, which we're gonna be working for next year. That's all they talk about. Let me tell y'all something.
Tell me something.
And first of all, I want all the smoke. I
Tell me
don't
something.
whistle when I walk by the graveyard or anything like that.
I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard.
That's right.
I like that.
Hey,
one.
man.
I'm stealing that one.
The Lakers are doing great. Got a long way to go. But the reason the season's been going great for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Y'all just want to talk about the Warriors and the Lakers. They're both doing great. Don't get me wrong. If I turn out to be wrong, I got no problem with that. But y'all are idiots because y'all talk about the Lakers and the Warriors all the time. Y'all don't. The Cleveland Cavaliers have won 12 straight games. The Oklahoma City got the MVP and they are on fire. Y'all are talking about who's in second place. That's the reason I get pissed. Hey, the Lakers are doing great. I don't mind being wrong. The Warriors are doing great. But that's because you fools on other networks, which we're going to become fools next year. We've been working on that network. But Oklahoma City and the Cavs been balling for 6 months. Y'all talking about teams that had two great weeks.
Time out. I get what you're saying. You just went at the whole network.
They talk about the same
whole
stuff.
industry.
Whole industry. They talk about the same stuff every single day.
I would have to, but there's
Is there some credit?
That's why
It is known that ESPN has I can't say the word,
Wow.
for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Welcome.
And LeBron, and then maybe specifically for LeBron James, but they talk up the Lakers so much, and it's the LeBron James love.
What radio station do they play the Laker games on?
ESPN.
710 ESPN.
Yep.
That's why. Okay? So when you look at what Charles said, and you break down what Charles said, and I agree with him 100%. Okay? I watched the OKC game today against Denver earlier before I came here. Them boys ain't no joke. Okay? And you want to talk about Laker fans. Oh, we in second place now. You 11 games behind the top seed. So what? That goes to show you how great Cleveland and OKC been playing. You don't hear nobody saying anything like Boston, right?
Right.
Hey, I'm gonna say this here. I saw that game last night, right? And I'm gonna tell you something. And like I told all these Laker fans, I said, when the playoffs come, that's when you're gonna be exposed for not having no bigs.
Right.
Boston went to the rim, Tatum
Hard.
and Brown, all night long. Attack the rim. What you think OKC and Denver gonna do when they play the Lakers?
And then to add
point,
to
good point.
to add to that point, I believe like the first half, Jaylen Brown shut down Luka.
Like he did in the final.
That's
We
last
talked
year.
about this before
Yeah.
we started. He is key.
And
Luka
I-
does not want to see him.
I told all the Laker fans, because I watched it with a whole bunch of Laker fans, right? So in the first half, when it was going tit for tat, I said, what y'all don't understand is y'all going to go cold from the three-point line before Boston does, okay? So Boston them guys, when they get hot from the three-point line,
Game's over.
Game over.
And Al Horford, he was eating them alive.
Because they don't have no big.
And like Luka trying to complain to the refs, he had he had 5 or 6 turnovers. Let me actually pull.
Yeah,
You
Mo
know what
punches.
they doing to Luka, right? You know what they doing to
What are they
Luka?
doing?
They picking his behind up full court and
Making
making
him
him work to get the
Make him
ball
work.
up over half court.
Smart. That is
And
smart.
if he is, as Dallas say, out of shape and ain't in the shape, yeah, you pick him every time he want to bring the ball up. You pick his ass up full court and make him work to get the ball up.
Good point, brother. Good point.
All right, let me actually get the stats for Luka. He had.
Well, while you're getting up the stats, I'm gonna tell you what I had to live through last night as I was ignoring my friend who's a Laker lover. They ain't calling fouls.
Oh, stop it.
I'm like, you got no one in the middle. You shoot jump shots. LeBron is 40.
Yep.
Dude, reality check.
Wait a
I
minute.
told you weren't gonna win
You
the
want to call
championship.
that name out, bro?
You don't know him. He's from Mississippi.
That's all right. Call his
Okay,
name
well,
out. Put his name out.
Doc Rogers from Mississippi.
Thank you, bro.
Okay.
I'm
Punches.
like,
Put him on the
Punches.
spot.
yeah.
I don't know if you saw the New York game the other
When
night.
Brunson was getting beaten up.
Look.
yeah.
When they went into overtime, it was right before they went in overtime or it was in overtime. Luka had 5 fouls.
He didn't get another call.
Brunson,
He had 5 fouls going into overtime. He had 5 fouls in the fourth quarter.
Brunson
never
was
got no
driving
foul.
to the basket, right? On the play that he twisted his ankle.
Yeah.
Brunson was driving to the basket. The foul got called out around the free throw line. Luka is the one who fouled him, right?
Right.
That's when he went in and he stepped on Reeves' foot. The Lakers didn't challenge the foul call. Why was the referees over there at the video reviewing the play? They went over there and reviewed it and changed the foul on Luka, who
To
had
Austin
5
Reeves.
fouls, to
Reeves.
Reeves. And I'm like, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I've been hearing all year, oh, the refs. I'm like, y'all don't say nothing about the refs with the Lakers. They get phantom calls. They get, everything.
Lead the league in free throws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, my whole thing with that is, like I said, last night it was funny. I said, well, what was cold about Boston is they didn't even have Pachingas. I'm like,
That's correct.
Yeah.
And also, the Lakers have no depth compared to
Yes.
Boston.
Because they spent all that money on Luka and LeBron.
and if you think about
Man, I
it,
think Jackson Hayes
And
was
Bronny.
also out too.
That don't make a difference.
I know. I know. I know.
but
Jackson
let,
Hayes.
let me say this too. This is another thing. See, what people don't understand, right? Boston can put Holiday on Luka. They can put Brown
They
on
can put
Luka.
White.
They can put White on Luka. If they wanted to, they could put Tatum on Luka. They got 4 different people that they can put on Luka and wear him out.
Just literally, Luka, he was their actual 3-point king. He went 5 for 10 from the 3-point line. He was like their main scorer on the 3-point.
And that's one of the weaknesses of the Lakers. It's talking about this championship. I'm like, who are you going to have that can make? Can LeBron make stand still 3-point shots?
He was 0 for 6.
And let me tell you this too. This was funny last night. That I was telling all them Laker fans. I asked the question. I said, so who is Reeves gonna guard? He's gonna guard Brown, Tatum. Every time Reeves ended up on Brown, Brown was in the paint going to the hole. Went right by him like his feet was nailed to the floor.
He scored 31 points.
Yeah. And I said, who's Luka gonna guard? Who you gonna put Luka on?
Derek White.
You got 2 defensive liabilities when the Lakers go up against the big boys.
2.
3.
LeBron. Yeah, thank you.
Well, LeBron is trying to play a little better
Trying,
defense. But if
but
you
he's
make
40.
if you make LeBron and Luka, and this is what people don't understand about the game, if I can make J2 big scorers
Play
play
defense.
both ends of the floor, they're gonna wear down.
They're going to get tired.
Yeah.
LeBron is 40 and Luka is over. Luka's Luka.
It's a,
Luka's Hookah. So that's all. Everything you're saying, absolutely, and it's reality check for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
And I wanted to, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but going back to Luka's 3-point shots, most of them were when it didn't count.
oh,
He gets garbage points.
Yeah. Now I will say this, Hugh. I will say this. You guys, the Celtics, are gonna have everybody there when y'all play Cleveland for the Eastern Conference Finals.
okay. I'm jumping in on
You
that
are
one.
absolutely
I'm
right.
jumping in on that one. They ain't got to worry about Cleveland. Spider
no,
Mitchell
no,
never
bro.
shows up in the play. Guarantee he ain't gonna show up in the playoffs.
Who?
Spider Mitchell.
No, Mitchell gonna show up.
He does not show
Have
up
you
in the
looked at
playoffs.
the Cleveland team?
Have you
Have you
seen
looked
his
at who's
have
around
you seen
him?
his playoff performances?
I get it, but that's
He is
when
the
he
only
was.
found
That's when he
performance
had
to
to
show
carry
that
the
he
But
load.
that's my point.
right.
That's when he had to carry the load.
He's still
you
gonna
look
have to
at
carry the
Cleveland.
load.
No, look at Cleveland now. They got Garland. They got that boy from Hunter from
Garland
Atlanta.
who sucks in the playoffs. Mitchell who sucks in the playoffs. The dude
Well,
from
I mean,
Atlanta who hasn't
it's
proven
gonna
anything.
be on. That's what I'm saying. That's your conference.
Okay.
That should be your conference final.
Okay.
It's gonna be.
Let's
Yeah.
look at the Cleveland Cavaliers roster,
Sure.
shall we? So
Give me a playoff performer on that roster.
okay, let's see now. Ooh, Jesus Christ! You say playoff performer.
I want one proven playoff performer on that roster.
I would say that would be Max Strus.
Give me a proven playoff performer.
Okay, we're gonna see.
Jared
but
Allen. Yeah.
we're gonna see. But I say this, sir. If it's a 7-game series that I want to see, if Boston, there's no doubt in my mind, New York, they're a foregone conclusion.
Okay.
You still got New York to.
But Boston, okay, you look at it, if Boston's going to finish number 2, okay, let's say whoever finishes number 3, whether it be New York, Milwaukee, or whoever, they're not going to beat Boston. Okay, so we can say, I got it written in right now. It's going to be Cleveland and Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So more punches from Carson. We're on the East. We're gonna come back to the West because
Yeah.
LeBron James. Anything with LeBron James, Laker hate. But no one else in the East you're considering
No.
because there's a hot team in the East and everybody's overlooking them.
Who?
Detroit Pistons.
They not ready. They still young.
I agree with you, but
They
OKC is
overlook them.
also young, and everybody's counting them as they're gonna win.
But let me say this here. right? Playoff basketball. And I get what
I
you're
agree
saying
with
about Detroit. I'm gonna say this here: we give Detroit
A year.
another year,
Yes.
and then they're gonna be ready. They doing good now.
Okay, so let's actually go through the top 10
Sure.
of the Eastern Conference, since
You
those.
just need to go through the top 6. Trust me. Once
Okay.
you look at the records, you don't need to go through.
Okay, so we got Cleveland, Boston, you got New York, you got Milwaukee, you got the Pacers, you got the Pistons. 1 through 6.
Top 2, I agree. But I think Detroit is hot. I do agree they're young.
What is
I think-
Detroit's record?
Detroit, they
they
are
were
35 and
28 last night.
29. They are literally 5 games ahead of Atlanta.
Okay.
Atlanta has no shot at catching them. So
Yeah,
they're
no,
gonna
they're
be-
not.
They're going to be the 6th seed.
Yeah, it's
Cade Cunningham is
Atlanta,
looking
Orlando,
legit.
Miami.
He's 6'8",
Cunningham is
athletic.
nice. He's nice.
Can use either hand, can
Yeah.
shoot. I'm like, man, I thought he was overrated when they picked him, and he is. I'm like, if there's a fit Luka, it would be Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, Cade Cunningham, he definitely had growing pains that
in,
first year.
in Detroit. But
Yeah.
they got that Sar Thomas, they got that twin, they got that big boy who looks like a better version of Dwight Howard. Ivy's not back
Isaiah
yet.
Stewart. Or the other one.
No, Stewart is coming off the bench now. They streamlined their team. Duran.
During.
That dude is. He looks like Dwight Howard, but he can actually shoot.
Oh yeah, that's a problem.
They got a bench now.
Yeah.
They got the dude from Dallas.
Malik Beasley.
Well, he came from Minnesota. But I
Tim
don't count
Hardaway
on
Jr.?
Beasley either. He doesn't do anything in the playoffs.
Tim Hardaway?
Tim Hardaway Jr., who has done stuff in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The guys.
Like I said, they have Ivy coming back because they ain't counting on Beasley.
Yeah.
Now I would go
Yeah.
out on a limb.
Yeah,
I agree with you about Detroit. I would even go out on a limb and say
They're not going to beat Boston this year, but
no. What I'm saying is this: in the first round,
scary.
I would go out on a limb and say, if Detroit matches up with New York 3 versus 6,
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I'd say Detroit can pull the upset.
Yeah, but they're hot. That's the other
Yeah.
thing that people don't get because they started off horribly and they've been winning. They turned their season around. You do not want to play this team now. They gave Golden State fits last night. It took a miracle for Golden State to beat them.
But the thing I say about Boston, right? Bro, they got what, 4 or 5 guys who can play both ends of the floor.
Yep.
They never get tired.
And they got 4 or 5 guys
They
who
got-
made big shots.
Yeah. You can't leave. Look, Tatum last night, yeah, it was a trip. Everybody talking about, oh man, LeBron's defense has been a whole lot. Put LeBron on Tatum.
Whack. LeBron done.
Okay? Put LeBron on Tatum.
Tatum dropped 40.
Tatum went off last night.
This is Hugh from Boston. You hit it earlier, Van. Porzingis didn't play at all.
No, he didn't play.
Illness.
And they still killed him
Yeah,
by 10.
the point is, he didn't play.
And they still beat him by 10.
That's right. And look at all of the players they did have. Look at the depth they had.
actually so now the series was split between LA and Boston
Right.
because LA won the first time.
And let me say
Boston
this
won the
one.
second
Let
time.
me say this one.
Go ahead.
When the Lakers beat Boston the first time, Boston was on the second night of a back-to-back. They had played the Clippers the night before, then they had to go play the Lakers. Lakers, when they went to Boston, they wasn't on a back-to-back.
Well, they using
were
that
just
as an
as fresh
excuse
as
nowadays,
Boston was.
back to back.
No, that's
We
always
lose.
been. It's not an excuse. It's a reality. Back to back.
That's
in
true.
The NBA.
Back-to-backs is
That's a
hard.
disadvantage. That's a huge disadvantage.
I think when
According to the
Boston
stats,
played
right.
earlier, the Clippers game went into overtime.
Yeah,
Back-to-back.
that went into
And so
overtime.
That went into overtime.
That game went into overtime, and then they had to play the Lakers the next night.
So more punches from Carson. So that was the league setting it up for LeBron to look good again, but they couldn't save him when he went to Boston. So he got a groin injury, so he can get off the court. So anyway. He
Hey,
Come on now. Let's
It's
look
that
at it.
same
LeBron
groin.
is old.
He's old.
He's
Remember,
old.
it's that same groin that he dealt with, I believe, in 2018. Was it that same groin?
Oh, come on, it's 2025.
Yeah.
Come on, you got a 7-year injury? Man, knock it off.
I mean, we got Kawhi.
Yeah,
Well,
but
look at
Kawhi.
Kawhi. Look.
Kawhi has knees that are degeneratively bad.
Yeah,
So,
but he's still playing.
Trying
But
to.
Stephen A.
and we're back there.
After
There we
that
go.
guy,
We get back to the
that
cricket.
guy, That guy. How can you crucify anybody that's on the court playing through injuries and all of that? But then, well, I didn't play because I had a screw in my knee. Well, guess what? You wasn't good enough to play. Mm-hmm. Anytime they got to cut open a guy's knee 3 times and he's still playing, you wasn't good enough to play, Stephen A.
Okay, more punches, but neither is Bronny. But
Yeah,
Stephen A
but
is not the only analyst who never played ball. I do not like Stephen A, but
Skip Bayless is in close
thank
second.
you. He should shut his mouth too.
Yeah.
Colin Cowherd, Nick Wrong. There's a plethora of high-level sports analysts who never made it to anywhere near the professional level who feel justified in talking about people who work their butts off.
Now, I'm going to say this. Cowherd,
I know him like Winslow.
he don't criticize the players like Stephen A. and Skip Bayless does. He doesn't do that.
What about Nick Wrong?
You mean Jim Rome?
Nick Wrong. Nick Wright.
Nick Wright. Nick Wright is Nick Wright, me and him are neck and neck when it comes to cheering for the Kansas City Chiefs.
But he also cheers for for LeBron James.
But
that means Van is going to bail out on him. That's what that means.
But the thing is, when it comes to, like I say, when it comes to LeBron, Charles Barkley hit the nail on the head. But you know what I think Kendrick Perkins is scared of? Kendrick Perkins, once Shaq, Ernie, Kenny, and Charles come over to ESPN, Perk might not have a job no more. Anybody ever think about that one?
Perk should have a job.
That's possible.
Perk is horrible.
Perk might not have a job no more when Charles and them come over there. That's why he mad at Charles.
I mean, like, we could continue the actual clip to actually hear what Charles. I mean,
Yeah, play Perk. You can hear it in his voice.
Hold on, let me actually see if I can fast forward to when Perk.
Kendrick Perkins is an idiot who looks for sound bites or hot takes or whatever. He's a moron.
Yes,
I agree with Chuck.
Yes, he is. So let's continue real quick.
Is there some credit to be handed out?
Yes. But don't say basketball's only watching now. First of all, between that, LeBron's great, Michael's great. But y'all talk about it all the time.
Yeah, Shaq.
So that's what Charles Barkley said, calling out end of the clip, and he said, yo, Chuck, stop the BS with the y'all. Attach a name to it. I know I've been talking about the Cavs being the number 1 threat to the Celtics. Once you come over here, there's going to be some folks waiting to call you a fool. P.S. You know, Perkins said, hey, NBA on TNT. Might want to tell that senior citizen, Charles Barkley, that I'll be around. When he sees an idiot or a fool in person, make sure he keep that same energy. He can come play with me if he want to, and I'm going to address his ass like the number on the house. Straight from the 409 homeboy, and we bar none and fade all. Texas boy. So that's what Kendrick Perkins said, man. And if you look through his comments, everybody was saying that Perk looks like a clown trying to fight a senior citizen. And yeah, man, Kendrick Perkins got emotional with that response, in my opinion. Kendrick Perkins.
All right. So that was his Twitter response to basically saying, he basically telling Charles Barkley to catch me outside.
Yeah. He don't want to mess with y'all.
No, he really don't.
He doesn't want to.
Because literally, if we're talking basketball knowledge, Charles got it.
Charles got it and Perk don't. And not only does Charles have it and Perk don't, Charles went
he
up
has a Hall of Fame pedigree to back it up.
He went up against the best of the best. He came in the league with Dr. J and Moses and them when they was playing Boston. When Bird and Parrish and McHale, that's who Barkley played against. Oh man, that Boston at that time had the best front line in basketball with Bird, McHale, and Parrish. That's who Barkley went up against.
And
Perk ain't never went up against nothing like that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Barkley lead a Phoenix team
to the finals?
To the finals. Yeah.
They may have lost the finals, but he still did.
Well, he shouldn't feel bad about that. Anybody who had to go up against Jordan lost. Jordan ain't never lost in the finals.
Right. But there were years in which people like to gloss over when it comes to Jordan, that being his beginning years before he got Pippen.
Well, you know, when Jordan came up, when Jordan got drafted, I believe it was 83 or 84.
Yeah. 84.
Right? Philly, Boston, and the Lakers was running things. And Detroit, they were running
Bad
things
Boy
in the
Pistons.
80s. Yeah, Bad Boy Pistons. They were running things in the 80s. Okay? So Jordan had to basically get in line like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the games where, and I know Hugh remembers this, he might need an ice pack when to put on his head when I say when they played Boston in the playoffs, the first time he got in the playoffs, Jordan went for 60-something.
69.
Was it 69 or whatever it was?
But going back to what you were saying, I think in the 80s, those 4 teams won all of the championships.
They did win all the championships.
I think all 10 championships went to those 4 teams.
Went to those 4 teams. So my thing is, when I say basketball in the 80s, that's when it was really basketball, okay? Because the matchups, the collisions, I went to a game one time, the Lakers played Philly, right? This was like in 83. And that's when the Lakers were still playing at the Forum. People were literally running to get inside to the game. Why? Because Dr. J was in the house.
That's true.
Okay? Dr. J was in the house. So, I mean, I hear Stephen A. and I hear, when they don't say the GOAT debate and all of this and all of that. Hey, man, LeBron, I'll say this for LeBron. He could have played back in the day, right? But some of these guys, like Isaiah said, Steph Curry wouldn't have been able to play. In other words, I don't know about that, but I know Curry wouldn't have been going to the hole like that back in the 80s with not a price to pay. You went to the hole in the 80s, it was a price to pay. Ask Kurt Rambis.
Just what I was going to say.
McHale clotheslined him. It was a price to pay.
But that's the point they make about this longevity argument with LeBron. And, I mean, you have these guys playing until they're 36, 37, 38 at a high level because you didn't take that wear and tear.
Jordan took that wear and tear. See, they neglect to bring that up. See, Jordan had to deal with Detroit. I mean,
he had to deal with Detroit
had what they call Jordan rules.
Yeah.
Right? If he come down the lane, put him down. Put him down. He go to the bathroom. Y'all all better go with him. That's how tough they was guarding Jordan.
This is Hugh from Boston. I think Jordan also needed a couple of years to learn how to play with other players.
Yeah.
He learned what Kobe never learned.
Well, I'm going to say this here. Phil Jackson was the one who taught Jordan how to play with other players. When it was Doug Collins there, he had the ball all the time. Jordan did. So when Phil Jackson came, and he brought the triangle offense and all of that, Jordan had to rely on his teammates. And Pippen was handling the ball a lot during that time when Phil Jackson came. And see, Jordan said himself, he didn't like Phil at first because Phil was taking the ball out of his hands, where Doug Collins wanted him to have the ball in his hands. But Jordan got better as when Phil Jackson came. He got even better because Scottie Pippen took over the ball.
Right,
Jordan made
the
players around him better.
Pippen, there was
And that's
Harper.
again what Kobe never did.
Then when Rodman came from Detroit, over to Chicago, you had Kerr, Kukoc.
You couldn't leave Kerr to double Jordan. You can't. Kerr ain't missing a wide open look.
That's true. That's it.
Right, you had a system around him in which that system was very successful and was hard to beat. Especially that's why during the 90s, it was the Bulls.
Yeah. But even in the 90s, the Bulls didn't have the competition in the 90s that was in the 80s.
Oh, definitely.
Well, is that because Jordan was beating everybody?
No, that's because the guys in the 80s got old and retired, and the guys in the 90s was just coming up. The same thing. You can say the same thing about Shaq.
The same thing happened to Detroit. They couldn't beat Boston because it was Boston and the Lakers. That was your baseline. They had to learn how to, you're counting Detroit, but Detroit had to learn how to beat Boston so they could beat LA.
Detroit and Boston had some classics, man. You talking about that 1-7 game? See, Hugh, Parrish got away with one when he in that game 5 when he threw those punches at Lambeer and didn't get kicked out.
I didn't see any punches.
I did.
Boston fan.
I didn't see them.
Yeah,
that's good.
So
That's good.
That's the one where Bird steals the ball. Y'all was that close to losing that series in '87. That was a classic.
But you have to be, and this goes to 2 points. You started off; these guys were prevented from winning. But if they win, now you have a rivalry.
Yeah.
But Jordan was like, sorry, ain't gonna happen. I mean,
But
like you
Jordan,
said,
Jordan got better when he learned to play with the other players.
Well, I'm just making
That's
the
what
point
I think changed
that
it.
Chuck is a great player. Chuck was the second best player in the league. Chuck
Yeah.
was the second best player on the Olympic team, but he was the second best player. He wasn't the best. So, if Jordan had retired, he would have had a shot. Just like Hakeem, Jordan retired.
Let me
Houston
just
wins.
I agree with
So-
you, Mo. Let me toss this out, and I could be wrong. Isn't Barkley only 6'6"?
He's shorter than that.
Let me
He's
give
more like
you
6'4.5".
6'4".
Right. And what is Jordan's size? And what is
6'6". But
Chuck worked from a
but he was
physical
still the
deficit
but
as
he was
well.
still the second best player in the league.
Right.
Yeah,
He was a mound of
Barkley-
rebounds.
He was round mound rebound.
Barkley
But
was 6'6".
He
That's
was
what I thought.
listed 6'6". He wasn't 6'6".
Oh,
He was
okay.
6'4".
Yeah.
But Barkley
No,
at
he was
6'4".
6'6".
Barkley
He was 6'6",
Barkley at
though.
6'4" was down there banging with Moses. He was banging with Parrish, McHale. He was banging with all them boys. You know.
And he took a team to the finals. He
Right.
had his Philly teams. He had whatever.
I will
he was
say
the
this.
second best player in the
Barkley
league.
was a bigger 6'6" compared to Jordan, because Jordan was also 6'6", but he
But
was.
he was legit.
He was big.
6'6". Barkley was not 6'6". They listed him 6'6". He was 6'4.5". But the other point is, hey, you got to beat the champ. You got to learn how. You're sitting there saying it.
That's
you
right.
learn how to win. Boston
right.
has learned how to win. Cleveland hasn't.
But that's
I
why-
think Cleveland has talent, but they have no one on that team that I fear.
But that's why I look forward to that series, because Cleveland's been on a roll all year, and their true test is going to be when they play the Celtics.
But then, hold on. But then because we had the same situation with OKC last year, where they were the number 1 seed
That's my point.
last year, and Dallas came in.
Because they had no one battle tested on that team.
No, I'm going to tell you why OKC lost that series. They didn't have any size. All they had was Holmgren. And Holmgren, they went and got Hardenstein from New York. So now they got Hardenstein and they got Holmgren.
Well, I'll tell you, if you haven't watched that series, Lou Dort made no shots. The little dude that led 3-point shoot made no shots. And Luka was just sitting there talking to him.
Dork was wore out. He was the primary defender on Luka. So he had to play Luka.
Yes.
He had to guard Luka, and it took
he's
away
about to
from
make
his
my point
offense.
for me, by the way.
But the same thing we talking about it happened to Dork. The same thing is getting ready to happen to Luka. Okay, the same thing. It happened to Luka when they played Boston. It happened to Luka when they played Boston in the finals, and it happened again last night. How many times did they pick Luka up full court and take the ball from him for easy layup?
I'm just saying, you're
know?
making my point for me that I had with Hugh, who has the championship team.
Yeah.
Everything you said about Dort, Jaylen Brown didn't do.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
you raise a good point.
You get tired. Hey, be tired in the offseason. Because this is Anthony Edwards' excuses. Be tired. I'm tired. No, be tired in the offseason.
Yeah.
It ain't. It's the playoff time. It ain't time to be tired.
Absolutely.
So Jaylen Brown is like, I'm gonna be tired in the offseason. Right now, I'm doing work.
I'm gonna say this, and like I said, we was watching the game last night, and I told him, I said, when it come to, I said I know the Celtics. I done watched enough Celtic games, and I damn sure paid attention to when they played the Mavs in the finals last year. Whoever Luka was guarding,
they're gonna kill him.
they attacked him.
Yep.
They made him play defense.
Well, this year, this is the Laker hate. This year, you got 3 guys who gonna get attacked. Now, I'm including LeBron. I'm 40. LeBron has a history of getting tired in the finals, too, or getting, I don't know, dehydrated or something. And at 40, he's gonna be old in the finals. Now, if you're playing Boston in the finals, they're gonna kill all 3 of those guys.
Now, I pose this question. Let's go to the West.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. So you got OKC.
Okay.
You got Denver.
Okay. I can read the top 6 for you.
Read the top 6.
Okay, so you got the Thunder, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, the Rockets, and the Warriors.
Okay. Now, you know who I would say the most dangerous team is outside of OKC?
Warriors.
Denver.
Warriors.
They've proven it.
With Jimmy Butler.
Ooh.
But see, here's the thing.
They got 2 guys on the team who run, and Jimmy's been to the finals.
Draymond.
Yep.
No.
Draymond, now that he has Butler and Curry, what does Butler and Curry have in common? They can go get their own shot whenever they need to. And they both can get to the free throw line, right?
Yeah.
Draymond does all the dirty work. And Draymond can run the point if need be. Steph can play more off the ball. He ain't got to handle the ball, bringing the ball up as much, right? And you look at the rest of that team, right? This ain't a league now that's dominated by bigs. You see what I'm saying? Now they got Looney, and the Warriors got Looney, and they got the other boy. They got sufficient bigs, and they got shooters. Okay, so I'm looking at. Like I say, the Lakers went on a run, but what people fail to tell you is that run the Lakers went on.
And they got Kuminga. There you go.
Huh?
Kuminga.
He's coming back though.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
Kuminga.
two. Yeah, technically their 2 bigs are literally Kuminga and Looney.
No, at this point,
No, it's Looney and
Post.
Quentin Post.
It's Looney and Post.
Yeah.
Speak
Okay.
upon that streak you were talking about, that 8.
That streak that the Lakers went on.
Right.
Who did they play in that streak? They played the Wizards twice. They played
So-
the Pelicans.
So what you say?
They basically played bad teams. The only credible win they had was when they went to Denver and beat Denver.
Okay.
Give them that.
Okay.
And 6 of those 8 games were at home.
And 6 of those 8
Yes.
games was at home.
All
You
right.
know, and everybody raving about the Lakers. Lakers. I said, do you guys know the Lakers are under 500 on the road?
Thought they were just about 500.
Let me
No,
actually.
they were 14 and 15 going into the Celtic game.
That's under 500.
And now they're
they're-
14 and 16.
No, they're 15 and 15.
I think
Okay,
they're 15 and
500.
15. I think they were 15 and 14 going into the
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
I could be wrong, but that's what I remember.
Yeah,
Oh,
if I am,
okay.
going into it, they were 15 and 14 going up against Boston, and then after the loss to Boston, they're 15 and 15.
Okay.
so now, and we ain't spoke on this, or if we did, it was briefly. LeBron went out last night with a groin pull.
Yes.
They say he's gonna miss 1 to 2 weeks
Yes.
with that.
Yes.
Well, guess who they play in them 1 or 2 weeks?
Okay,
They're back Ace,
They
right?
play Milwaukee on Wednesday.
Their next
Oh no,
game,
they play Milwaukee on Thursday,
Their next game
and then
coming.
they could play Denver on Friday.
Their
Those
next-
are 2 losses.
Yeah, their next game coming up for the Lakers, I believe, is Brooklyn, and that's on Monday.
They'll win that one.
Yeah, but then the next 2, but then the 5th game, I think, is also Denver at home.
And Denver has to win those games for tiebreak.
And then
So,
they play
great opportunity for
Thursday at Milwaukee.
So, go ahead.
LeBron could potentially miss the Milwaukee game and both Denver games.
Yep.
He's not potentially.
He is.
motherfucker,
He
he's
will.
going. To,
He
he's
will.
40 with a groin pull. He's gonna be out.
Dan was being polite.
So hold on a minute. You got some stats. What you got?
I just had the standings. I just had the standings.
Standings.
Oh, okay.
That's all. I made some notes with the
Those standings are
To
gonna
me, it
change.
was really important that the Lakers were 15 and 15.
Okay,
They're
good.
playing badly away from home.
Okay.
Because
And,
yeah,
the
because
Celtics are 21 and 7 away from home. If you want to, compare things.
right, because the Lakers on Thursday got Milwaukee, and then they got a back-to-back Friday against Denver.
Back to back. That
Back
Three-
to back
those are
at
3 L's.
Milwaukee
That
and
word.
Denver.
Yeah, those are 3
Yep,
L's.
at Denver.
And Denver's gonna
And
get the second
LeBron
spot.
is out. I guarantee. I'm like some Charles now. I guarantee
All right, brother.
Luka ain't playing both of them back to backs. He'll play one. He ain't playing the other.
Especially when he's dealing with a back spasm that he suffered, I think, against the Clippers, I think the second game or the
I
first.
thought he had that before he came out here.
No, he re-aggravated it.
Well, he did have
Yeah.
it.
Because he suffered that in the playoffs when he coincidentally played against the Clippers.
Okay. But have we haven't spoke up on the trade yet.
I was waiting on
everybody
that.
felt about the trade with Dallas and the Lakers. Before we do that, could we go around the horn and introduce ourselves to the people that's watching us? We can start with the guy you can't see. He's the engineer keeping up the stats.
Yeah, I am Rashid, the engineer. I am a Clipper fan.
Oh,
Mo Punches from Carson, prohibitive Clipper fan until we get rid of James Harden.
oh, for real?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Well, could you
I know
let
where you
Why
everybody
did you
going.
pick them up?
Could you let everybody know?
I know where you. I know where
Where's
you're
he
going.
going?
I know exactly where you're going with
The
that.
same way, the same reason we picked up Ben Simmons. I don't know why.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
I mean, if you think about it, right? I know why you saying that with Harden, because Harden disappears when the playoffs come.
He disappears in big games. He
Big
disappears in
games,
the playoffs.
big
He
games.
disappears if it's breakfast time. It's like
you
Yeah.
ought to stuck with him more until it's over, man.
We stuck with him for
let
two
the
seasons.
season
Two
play
seasons.
out,
Yeah.
and y'all going somewhere.
Well, you see how we're going.
I know you're going somewhere. I'm Johnny. I'm the producer of this show, and I was saying earlier that at least 10 years ago, I was inspired to do this particular show, and I was inspired by these two gentlemen right here. And we have a theme song. Could you play our theme song for a moment, sir? And I'm going to show you. I'm going to let the listeners hear this song, and this is how this particular show. This is how it came about.
All right, let me get
I think we might be in trouble, Van.
No, you guys are not in trouble. This is how it all started.
All right, let me get
This
that.
is how it all started right here. That's when I saw the vision.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Listen to this. This is how it started. You two guys.
What's up, Johnny?
Hey, what's up, Big B?
Man, we got something for these Laker haters.
Man, you know they've been starving for something for a long time.
Yeah, let's give them something
Come
right
on,
here.
let's do this right now.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. The haters are happy cause the team playing crappy. Give the Clippers a cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happy season.
This is our theme song. It's called Most Wonderful Time of the Year. Myself and a gentleman named Bernard Lilton, we produced this song for the Laker haters. We felt that the Laker haters needed a theme song, so we composed this song. And then, once we started playing this song, I saw these two cats. They was going at it. They was going at it like this. I said, wow, that's a show. It took me 10 years to get it together. And here we are, 2025, for Laker haters only. I'm Johnny, the producer of the show. I'm kicking back, letting all these experts do their thing. Identify yourself, sir.
I'm Van Douglas, #1 Laker hater.
And I'm Hugh from Boston.
That's all it is. 2 words, a Laker hater and Hugh from Boston. That says it all, okay? So I just want to thank everybody for listening and looking at what we're doing. This is the first day of this production. And we're going all the way with this. We're going all the way to the playoffs. And all we want to do is piss some people off. So if you're a Laker hater, join the fun. If you're a Laker lover, get out the way. We don't even want to hear from you, okay? Take your stuff somewhere else. And anybody want to call? Could you give that number again, sir? Maybe somebody can call in. And
the number is
speakerphone.
310-910-9676 extension 1. If you want to see us live, go to acceleratorradio.net/TV. We're on where you'll have an actual visual. You can see the faces behind the voices.
Uh-oh. You can see
Sorry
the
about
faces.
that.
wow.
Yeah.
That goes to show. Okay, we're good. Let's continue. Again, I want to get back to the point
Luka.
to where
The trade.
trade took place. It caught everybody off guard.
No
And the
joke.
first time I saw the information on the trade from Mo Punches. You put it on social media.
Okay, sorry about that.
And it came, I said, oh, man, I got to fact check this. I said, maybe not. Mo know what he's talking about. Bam. There it was. And I mean, those people in Dallas was ready to kill people back there. I was surprised. They wanted to beat up the owner of the team and
wasn't it a business decision from Dallas's perspective?
It was a business.
I think it was a business decision by the NBA.
Okay, let's hear that. Elaborate on that.
What I'm saying is this here. This trade happened, and everybody was talking about the ratings going down. Nobody's watching. The players don't care about the All-Star game. All of this negative stuff was being said about the league. Okay? And with that being said, right after all of that negative stuff came out, then came this trade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I believe, first of all, I'm going to stand up for the Dallas general manager. No way he could have made that trade without the ownership signing off on it.
Okay.
But everybody crucified him, gave him death threats, and all of that. No way he could have made that trade if the owners didn't sign off on it.
Just expanding, Van, who are the owners of the Dallas now?
They casino guys.
That's right, the Adelson family.
Yep.
Not
and
Mark
there
Cuban.
is some.
Yeah.
I think he died. I think it's the family that owns it. But there's some problem of perspective. They can't do something in Las Vegas for 2 years.
And if you really,
they didn't want to pay Luka.
And if you really look
at it,
that's
one of the reasons why I believe that they
that's
traded
why the trade was made. Yep.
And also, and I'll just shoot this in now. When I first heard about it, the trade wasn't that disproportionate in my mind. I thought that maybe Dallas could get something out of whatever his name is who came from the
Anthony
Lakers.
Davis.
Anthony Davis. But of course, Davis was played too early and hurt again and back in street clothes. But for a year, and then Luka, I don't know. I don't think they didn't want to do anything with him because they did not want to sign him to the contract.
They give him $80 million.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He was going to leave, and he knew it.
About him out of shape and all of that. Now I don't know how much of that is actual fact or it was just justification for making the trade. They couldn't say, well, we traded him because we wasn't going to give him that super max or whatever. But I believe that the league thrives when the Lakers are relevant. Before the trade, the Lakers wasn't relevant. And no one was watching. See, there's two kind of fans. I tell people this all the time in basketball.
I got it.
There's two kind of fans. There's actual basketball fan. The actual basketball fan, it doesn't matter who's in the playoffs, who's in the finals, they're going to watch. Then there's the Laker fans, right?
That's all they know.
The Laker fans, if they're not in it, they're not watching. The Laker fans and the Lakers control the ratings.
Okay, Mo punches some Carson.
Go ahead, Mo.
Okay, so I would actually counter that. That's actually more than two types of fans. You missed the LeBron fans. I will also throw out, if you have a good enough product, you don't need the Lakers.
Exactly.
See the Chicago Bulls of the 90s, who had the highest rated finals, if not the top 3 highest rated finals, I think, in history. So, yeah, if you have a legitimate superstar with a dynamic team, you will get the ratings. So they do not really need the Lakers. I'm not going to argue the point. I will make this counterpoint, though, not as far as argument goes. For some reason, Mark Cuban sold majority ownership.
Why did he get out of that? Yes, he did.
I do not know why he sold majority ownership. I can see why he would sell minority ownership.
No, he sold majority, and he's a smart man.
But he said, do not trade Luka as a part of the sell condition. Here's the problem. It was a Trump acceptance. They said yes and then said, but we're going to do what we want to do. Because Cuban understood Luka's importance to Dallas. You have a superstar who's going to put butts in seats for the next 6 years legitimately. You don't have to do anything with this team. The people are going to show up. You're going to get your ratings. You're going to get whatever.
That's why I
then
said
they
it was a league
sold
trade.
they sold away their draw. That just it made no sense from the business perspective. All they did was piss off their fan base.
Absolutely.
But that's why I say I believe it was a league thing. I think that Adam Silver, behind the scene, I believe. I'm just saying.
I would agree with you if Mark Cuban was still the owner, then
that would have never happened
with it.
It wouldn't have happened.
It wouldn't happen. That's what I thought.
That's the problem I have with that. The new ownership are not basketball people.
No, there's something going to happen. I would just predict
business.
there's something going to happen in 2 years with Las Vegas and the NBA. I got no idea what. Something's going to happen, and this is the preliminary step to have that.
To have them move from Dallas.
It'll be the Mavs in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know.
Or Aces, whatever they want to do.
Just predicting it was something more than we know.
Yeah,
now.
they said they would never have a
a
baseball team there too, and they said they would never have a football team there also.
So so not to argue it, but that's just the Cuban thing is the one problem I have with the league, because he was never gonna get rid of. He loved Luka, never gonna get rid of Luka. So the new ownership came in, and well, there that goes. Yeah. So and the other thing about the GM. Well, you paid to take those bullets, man. I'm sorry. You want that salary? You got to take what comes along with it.
Oh, I
understand you can't make the decision, but you're the front man.
But
you got to take those shots.
I agree with what you saying that. But the fans, that just shows you how silly they are and
no
how
argument
dumb
there.
they
Yeah,
are.
right.
If I'm the owner of the team and I'm writing the checks, I'm signing off on. If the general manager comes to me, hey, we want to do this, we want to trade him, this and I say no, that's it. So, I mean, why can't, you got Stephen A. and all of these guys blaming the general manager, and I'm like, y'all know.
Yeah,
y'all blaming him, but the owners had to sign off on it.
Yeah.
If the Lakers, perfect example, AD. Right? If Jeannie Buss didn't want to trade AD, she wouldn't have signed off on the deal.
Okay, well let's talk about the real person in charge of the AD trade. If LeBron didn't want AD traded, then the move wouldn't have been done.
I'm gonna put it like this.
Let's be a real Laker hater.
I'm gonna break it down to you, man. LeBron is 40 years old. Now, if LeBron was 30 years old, I'd say, yeah, you may have a point.
I got to counter
but
that.
At 40 years old, right? LeBron can retire at any time.
He can.
Lakers need a superstar. Always have needed one.
Right.
Okay? If LeBron retired without the Luka trade, where the celebrities can't gonna keep going there. You got to have something to keep them celebrities buying them tickets and sitting courtside. And Luka was the one.
Okay, more punches from Carson.
Good point.
That's an excellent point. I think if LeBron being 40, he has no say, but LeBron at 39 obviously has say. Otherwise, LeBron wouldn't be in the league. Just making a point.
Well, okay, you know what? Okay, we back to Bronny. I'll give you the Bronny one. Hey, you know what?
He was 39.
You know what? And let's go here with that, right?
Okay.
Anybody who really truly wanted to try to get LeBron to come to their team, that's why I'm mad at the Warriors. Y'all picked before the Lakers. All y'all had to do, if you pick Bronny, LeBron would have went up there.
Yep.
They talking about they were doing, that's another thing that was rigged. Because where the Lakers picked Bronny at in the second round, how many teams,
all of them,
that was ahead of the Lakers had a chance to do the same
Every
thing?
team had a chance at running. Because it's a first round.
They put a memo. They put a memo out there saying if you pick Bronny, he ain't gonna report. So
pick him anyway.
But see, they and so it's like they call themselves doing LeBron a solid and not picking his son so the Lakers can pick him. If you look at the second round of the draft, it was at least 10 teams that could have picked Bronny before he got to the Lakers.
Okay, man.
Yes, absolutely.
This is Laker hate perspective.
Come on.
Here's where Golden State said, no. We do not want LeBron riding on Steph Curry's coattail.
Ooh,
Steph Curry has killed LeBron in the finals.
Whoa.
We don't want LeBron winning a ring and saying, I'm the reason why Golden State, because everywhere he goes, he's the reason why he went to Miami, where Wade had a ring and he didn't, and said, I'm the reason why we won a ring. The only place he went where he legitimately could say he won a ring was Cleveland.
Yeah.
The only place. He had Rondo and AD when he came, and they were playing during COVID, which was an extension of a season. That's the half ring.
Do they get credit for that?
They get half ring.
They claim,
They
you from
claim
Boston,
credit for
they
it.
claim full credit.
Yes.
for it.
Okay.
When half the players were having surgery, so they couldn't even come back to the bubble.
Now,
So-
you want to get down to some real Laker hater stuff? Let's do this here.
I got something after you.
Okay.
too. Okay.
Where did the Lakers originally formulate at?
Minnesota. We understand.
That's my
Minnesota.
boy. Here we
Minnesota.
go.
How many championships did the Lakers win in Minnesota?
5.
They won 5, right?
George
do they-
Kindra.
So
they
why
count?
are the Lakers, why are the Los Angeles Lakers trying to claim 17 as Los Angeles Lakers when 5 of those championships was won in Minneapolis?
Right.
Now you going to take the championships from Minneapolis away from them to put it. Oh, we're just one behind Boston. No, you're not.
You're 6 behind Boston.
Boston won 18 championships as the Boston Celtics.
Right.
The Lakers won 13 championships as the Los Angeles Lakers. So how y'all neck and neck with Boston?
That's 12.
Oh, that phone might ring in a minute.
But Hugh has always
Made that
discussed
point.
that.
Yes.
Yep.
Always throwing that at, what was that guy's name? I
Misfire.
can't think of his name.
Mars.
Yeah, I couldn't think of his name. But he would always throw that out. That's when we had our Laker lover, Laker haters, and we had some Laker lovers, disputing that with the number one Boston fan over here. And it made a lot of sense.
Well, I will claim to be the number 1 fan, but I will claim to be one of the longest fans.
Well, that's number one. You're number one.
I remember when Bill Russell started with the Celtics.
See, you're number one, bro.
They got Hughes statue out in Boston.
No, they don't.
Bill
No. But something
We're gonna get it there.
No,
though.
but something I did discover
Yes.
that doing something for this show, it turns out that I am actually older than the Boston Celtics.
Beautiful.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh boy. I didn't
Boston
know that.
Celtics were organized by Walter Brown in June of 1946.
1946.
Yep.
Okay.
I was born in 45.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
It's easy math. I didn't want to make you do all math.
Well, that's why you're from Boston.
Yes, sir.
That's it. That's all you have to say.
I used
And
to see Bill
everybody
Russell. Used to see Bill Russell play in the 50s.
Right. And everybody know that you are a Laker hater when you're Hugh from
That's funny to
Boston.
me. I brought that same topic up to Laker fans.
Right. They didn't want to hear that.
Y'all, no, because they're we just won behind Boston. How you won behind Boston when? What about y'all taking the championships from Minnesota and added them to the Los Angeles Lakers? They was in Minneapolis when they won them championships.
Well, you know what, Van, my speaking to these people, just ask them who coached the first 5 championships.
They don't know.
They haven't got a clue. And who was the best player in their championship team?
Mike.
They don't know.
That's right. They don't know.
Yeah.
That's
I noticed
You know
something
what
about
they
Laker
say?
fans.
We wasn't born then.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but I was.
I remember that. But it's only one thing about the Laker lovers. All they know is Lakers. That's it.
That's
They
what I'm
can't
saying.
go to another team and name any player on another team. They can't do that. All they know is Laker stuff.
Well, that's what Van was bringing up earlier. We had another word for the fans like that. They're the fair weather fans.
Yeah.
Their team's doing well, they're all behind them.
Yeah.
Their team not doing anything.
I give
We're
you a
watching
perfect-
movies or
I give
something.
you a perfect example. Ever since the Luka trade, right? Everybody running around with Laker stuff on now. I'm like, really? Really? I said, I got something for y'all when the playoffs come. I said, y'all, when y'all get up there against Denver, first of all, you have to beat Denver before you even get to OKC. And I said, I said that game that y'all beat Denver in, I said, trust me, Jokic ain't gonna take 7 shots
in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, like he did in that game. Trust me on that. Okay, so I said, you guys can say what you want to say. Okay, oh, we gonna do this. I said, when the playoffs come, you not having a big man is gonna show its face.
It's gonna show its ugly head.
Okay.
Mo punches from Carson. Now I will speak on what you say about Luka. That was the depression part of the trade. They did get their superstar for the next 8-10 years.
Yeah.
So that was depressing. It's like, man, I was looking forward to the downfall of the Lakers.
That's
Here
why,
we go.
That's why I say.
But they got to put somebody around him.
But Dallas did that, so they're gonna be all right.
That's why I say it was a league thing, because
if
LeBron retired and they didn't make the Luka trade, ain't no superstars there.
But they always manage to get somebody from somewhere.
Well, and then the small market teams. If you go back to the lockout, when Dan Gilbert and all the small market teams was raising this big who blah blah, okay, well, you know, the big market teams is always getting the best players and whoop 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 whoop, right? Then when they finished, they settled the lockout. You hear Laker fans say, "Oh, they stopped us from getting Chris Paul." I said, I said, let me tell you something. I said, if they'd have let that Chris Paul trade go through, the small market owners was gonna lock everybody out again. That's why the Chris Paul trade didn't go through, and David Stern knew that. At the time, the league was running the Pelicans, and they approved the trade.
Yeah,
they approved the trade. Okay, so y'all was trying to spoon feed the Lakers. These small market teams, and what I get mad at them about, y'all keep spoon feeding these guys superstars.
Oh, like Dallas.
Yeah, like what Dallas did. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, as I said earlier, Hugh from Boston, the other shoe hasn't dropped. 2 years from now, we'll find out what.
Well, 2 years from now. Okay, more fun from Carson. LeBron will be 42 in 2 years.
Right.
If LeBron is still playing, he'll have a bionic knee. I don't know what type of drugs he's gonna be taking, because if you're still playing at 42, dude, they gotta do something for you, because you're doing some futuristic stuff.
He on that Captain America Super Soldier Serum.
Thank you. Yeah.
You know, I would love to see if they love to see him do a drug test on LeBron, test for steroids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would love to see that shit.
When you started that statement, that's exactly what through my head.
Yeah.
You're exactly right, man.
That is not gonna happen.
I would love to see. I would love to see them. I mean, they did. Look at what they did in baseball. They did it with McGuire. They did it with Sammy Sosa. Yep. I believe they did it with Barry Bonds.
Yep, they did.
Okay, but see, here's the thing, and this is the thing about the NBA. The NBA is so star driven, right? The stars carry the game. It's like Kobe, God rest his soul. Kobe put his foot in his mouth so many times.
Yes, he did.
I love my wife. I don't do what they do, and this and right after you say that, you go to Colorado and you get caught up in this mess.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Now, my thing is this here. Not only did you get caught up in the mess, but then you told on Shaq.
Yes, he did.
Okay? And then everybody wanted to give Kobe a pass on that because, we talking about Kobe the basketball player. Really?
But
what NBA player has ever dimed out other players on that kind of issue?
Oh, Russell.
Who?
With the Lakers when he was a rookie.
Yeah.
He sold out.
But Kobe should have known better.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, Iggy Azalea. Yep. Oh my God, did he ever?
Who did he get?
The dude.
It was Nick Young.
Nick Young.
Okay.
Because he had Iggy Azalea.
And he really dimed him out.
He dimed him out big time. Oh my God, did he dime him out?
So, I mean, to me, I can't say nothing against Kobe, the basketball player. But what he did as far as that goes, that was out of bounds.
If I can interject, I can say something about Kobe, the basketball player.
Come on.
But, he never reached his potential. He should have won many more championships. He should have been able to give a little and not take everything. And that's just my opinion.
I got you.
He had the talent, but he did not utilize it. And he acted like a spoiled little kid.
You came in this show, Hugh, when we started years ago, about Kobe's behavior. You was the first one that ever spoke upon that. I never forgot that.
Okay,
You know?
I don't remember it being
Well,
but
I'm
I've
telling
always
you,
felt
I mean,
like this.
I produced the shows, but I just remember
Yeah.
all the things you were saying about that, and you was right on point.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I say this. When the series that Detroit beat the Lakers with Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace and them boys, Chauncey and
Them boys.
Ham, Rip, Kobe shot him out of that series. He shot him out of that series. Detroit didn't have an answer for Shaq. They should have ran everything through Shaq.
Yeah.
But Kobe
But
couldn't do that.
Kobe couldn't do it.
That's right.
And Kobe shot him out of the dang series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And like I say, I'm shocked that phone. If anybody, Laker lovers is listening, I'm shocked that phone ain't rung. But the thing is, you know, the truth is the truth. If you go back to that series, Kobe shot him out of that series.
Mo Punches from Carson. I'm not going to jump on Kobe. I don't disagree with you. I'm just going to talk about diming out because I'm a Laker hater. What about Drake diming out LeBron?
With Diddy?
With him cheating on his wife.
Who, LeBron?
He did a diss track on LeBron cheating on his wife.
Well, let me tell you something about that.
I'm just saying.
Okay,
I love
let
that
me
because this is
tell you.
LeBron.
Yeah, but that's not basketball.
But wait a minute. Hold on. Let me say this, man. Okay? You see, go back to when Kobe got in that trouble in Colorado.
Sure.
Right? And he had to go to court in Colorado, and then he was allowed to fly back to LA and play. He never got suspended for that. He never got suspended. Nothing. They changed the times of those games and them court dates to coincide where he would make it back in time for the game. Okay? That's what I mean by the stars carry the game.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
And I can't argue that. If your league knows we're going to make money, if Kobe's in the game, if we're going to lose money if he's not, hey, if you can do it.
It's the old
you do
theory.
it.
Follow the money.
Drives the world.
Follow
So
the money.
I'm not gonna argue it.
But it goes one step. But let me show you where it gets the hypocrisy comes in at. Now, y'all did all this to get Kobe from court dates to the basketball court to play a game, but y'all let load management get out of hand.
Yep.
Fans paying their hard-earned money, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to go see such and such play." Then they get to the game.
He ain't
playing.
And that's why they instituted those rules last year, Mo Punch from Carson, that say, hey, you're not going to qualify for these awards if you basically load manage.
And a
because
lot
they've
of
gotten
people
out of
do that.
control.
I mean, like Van said, an awful lot of people save their money and whatever to treat their kids, whatever, to go to a game and see them. And I've seen it happen in my own family and whatever. You show up and the
they're
star
not
didn't
playing.
play that day. The
But
out-of-town star.
that's what I'm saying. That's why they implemented the
it's
rules
just-
about playing 62 games now. In order, you got to come out and play.
Yeah.
And that's why you see Kawhi out there now, even though his knees are bad.
Well, that's why if you look at what LeBron did in the All-Star game, that was foul.
Oh, I'm not. Laker hate, absolutely foul.
Yeah.
Dude, you're going to wait until the day of to say, I'm not going to play when they could have replaced you at a minimum.
Yeah.
And you just did that to be foul.
Be LeBron.
Yeah, but they're not saying anything about that. And he 40. Because
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
It's like when that it goes back to the stars carry the league. Now, like I say, if you go back in the day, all these boys, okay, y'all, big time, y'all making millions of dollars. You playing a game, you fly into a city, you got all kind of. I don't know how they find out where the teams are staying, but
It's easy to do.
But you got all of these groupies waiting on them, right? Every night, every city you go to, okay, the groupies are there. It's hard to say no to that kind of pressure every time. Every time. So, I mean, you know, when they say, well, I mean, a perfect example, Dr. J. Back in the day, right? Doc was the ambassador of the league. Anything Doc was doing off the court that wasn't cool, you didn't hear about it until after he retired.
Yeah, but this Hugh from Boston, that was the times too.
Yeah, that
People
time
you
too,
didn't
no
have,
social media.
People weren't in everybody's underwear.
Yeah.
That the problem. Shifting gears a little bit, but that's the problem with politicians today. Nobody wants to be a politician because you're betting your whole family.
Yeah.
But
but
just
I mean-
shifting gears quickly back to Kobe, he could have done a better job of getting out of Colorado. That could have been handled better.
Yeah.
Except that I think he was obstinate in saying, or tried to promote the fact, or maybe it was the league, that he wasn't involved. They finally had to give up on it, but it just got.
Well, why
walked
you say that? You think you saying that he could have got away without being publicized like that?
He could have
Should
paid
have
her
just
off.
settled with him.
Yeah, you could have paid her off.
He ended up paying her
Well,
off.
I mean,
in the end.
Ended
paying
up
off,
paying her off anyway.
I mean, paying off is the same as okay, I did.
But it would have been.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Hey,
That's why.
I
He
mean,
could
he
have
ended
paid
up.
her off from the beginning. And
That's right. It would have been all over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a bad
kept his
decision,
image
in my
all night,
opinion,
yeah.
from a business perspective. You're going to pay him off. Why
Pay him
wait
off,
9
yeah.
months
Well, that's
and
why
have
he
all the
had to-
publicity and
That's
everything?
why he
Pay
had
him
to
right
go
off.
buy. That's why he had to go buy Vanessa that $5 million ring.
That's right.
Okay, Mo.
I forgot about that, but Van's absolutely right. That'll give you the area where the money was.
Vanessa says, "You paid her $3 million. I want this $5 million
That's right.
ring." Kobe just put
Signed
his
the check.
card out there, signed a check.
Yep.
You
Okay.
know?
Mo punches from Carson. So this is going to be a point about errors because you make the point about LeBron and he a Laker, so I'm loving that he did it because he looks like an idiot doing it. You have Luka who can't keep his mouth shut, so he gets texts and calls his team game. Happened in the finals. They may have won if he had kept his mouth shut.
Yeah.
But you're talking about players who used to respect the game versus players who don't respect the game now because you put yourself above the game. So I'm like, a non-Laker, Anthony Edwards. Conversely, you have some of the older school players, like you have Steph Curry, who just goes out and plays.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, so now LeBron is the same era stuff. LeBron just doesn't have the, we would just say the qualities to be that type of player. And he's shown it multiple finals. So in multiple ways, his jumping teams and whatever. So yeah. So some of this you can put on the players. Some of it they could be coddled, whatever. But I do think there are players who come through who are just a different type of player. Yeah.
I'm glad you brung up
I am too.
this issue.
Yeah.
Right? They keep talking about the GOAT debate.
There's no
right?
debate.
There is no
and,
debate.
And me, I agree. I'm like this here. Everybody want to say between Jordan and LeBron. Now, I can say this. If you're going to say Jordan and LeBron, you may be able to throw Kobe in that conversation.
There's no maybe.
Okay? But my thing is, with that being said, they never mentioned Kobe.
That's true.
They did, except when the money changed, when Kobe retired. So they had to find a way to float the league. You're saying it's stock driven.
So my thing is this here, right? Kobe and Jordan. Jordan won 6 titles. Kobe won 5. What do they have in common? They won all 8 titles with the same team. LeBron had to jump ship, go over here. He was like, he did the Smokey Robinson song. My mama told me, you better shop around.
Yeah.
He went shopping for rings in Miami. Then he went back to Cleveland shopping for a ring. Then he came to the Lakers shopping for a ring. You better shop around. So my thing is, you lost 6 times. They'll bring up he won 4 titles, but they won't bring up the fact that he lost 6.
How about they don't, Mo Punches from Carson, they don't bring up the fact if you're going to be the GOAT, you're going to be the greatest of your era, how do you lose? You won 4 championships if you lost to one guy 3 times.
Curry.
He beat you 3 out of 4. How are you the best of your era if you lost to one guy
And it
3
would
out
have
of
been
4
4
times?
out of 4 if Draymond didn't.
If Draymond didn't kick,
Right,
that
right.
messed up that whole series. And Laker fans or LeBron fans you will not admit that. Well, he would have won anyway. Well,
No,
you
he
lost
wouldn't.
your center after that.
Right, okay.
So I'm like, the series was over. But the simple point is, how is there a GOAT debate when you're not even the best of your era? Curry beat you.
Well, I'm just going to toss this out. Going to talk about GOAT. GOAT is greatest of all time.
Say it.
There's only one.
Say his name.
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell. How many titles?
That's all time.
How many
He
titles?
won 11 titles
How
in
many
13
titles?
years.
That's right. And
He
one of
won,
those
but
years,
nobody talks about that.
and one of those years, he got injured in the finals.
Well, what about,
and that's why
what about his partner, Casey Jones? How many he had?
You know what they say about
8 or 9?
You know what they say about Boston and
What?
Bill Russell them back in them days? You know what they say? Well, they wasn't playing nobody.
That's bullshit.
I think they were more likely to say it was only 8 teams in the league.
Well, yes,
That,
they were, but those 8 teams were the best players in the country at that time, pretty much.
You know, expansion waters down the league.
Now we have
Expansion
30 teams.
Weakens the league.
Well, the counter argument is it waters it down if you maintain the same pool. But if you expand the pool, because now you went from just having North American players to European and
Right.
Asian players. So now you're getting the best talent around the world.
Right.
It's global. Yeah.
Because
Right.
if there was no Luka Doncic, trust me, the league would look a little different. Yeah.
That's true.
So yeah, I can buy that argument to a certain extent.
But how many of those players were going to make up? I mean, there are 8 teams, so there's 30 now. So were there 22 teams of these other folks at that time that weren't playing?
That's exactly. See, when like you said, it might have been only a few teams, but on those few teams,
was
they
some
had the
good
best
teams.
players in the
Best
world.
players.
I mean, that's what people don't see.
Well, the counter argument too is free agency, and
Free
how
agency, right
because
on that.
Boston and the Lakers used to grab all the best players. The
Well,
Knicks-
No.
Time out.
No. Boston drafted Jason Tatum. Boston
We're
drafted
talking
Jaylen
80s.
Brown.
You're talking different eras.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
talking
I'm going back.
Free agent-
I'm
yeah,
going
yeah.
back to the
It was-
beginning.
yes.
At one time, when the league started, they had what they called a territorial draft, and that's how Wilt Chamberlain ended up with
Philly.
With Philly,
'Cause he
they
was
got him
on
on a Kansas City was part of Philadelphia's territory. That's how. Don't ask me how.
What?
Well, they divided it by 8. I have no idea,
Okay.
but that's how they got him.
Okay.
That's exactly. And the Celtics got a couple of players.
AKA
with
that's the
same
mafia
concept.
draft.
So the rules were a little different. So
The rules were a little different and whatever, and you got to remember, all of the teams at that time were pretty much in the
That was
Northeast,
back
the
east.
Midwest.
All of 'em. Wasn't anything past
And
Mississippi.
the Lakers in Boston back in them days with Wilt and Bill Russell, those was classics.
Mm-hmm.
Those was classics. I mean, you talking about Wilt, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, and all of them guys. Bill Russell, Havlicek. Who am I missing? Cousy.
Sam Jones,
Sam
Casey
Jones, Casey
Pat
Jones.
Sanders,
Yeah.
Luskatov,
Yeah.
all kinds of different things. And most of those guys have 8 or 9 rings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then everybody say, well, Bill Russell wasn't as dominant as Wilt was. Bill Russell he did what he had to do to
win.
help the team win.
Exactly.
That's what Bill Russell was. Wilt had to put big points up for his team to even have a chance to win.
So Wilt's team was
didn't,
not as good.
Wilt didn't have the team around him that Bill Russell had.
And he didn't let the team participate with him. I mean, one year Wilt averaged 50 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
That lets you know right there.
Right? He wasn't passing.
It
He
sounds.
wasn't including.
I think the point Ben is making is the quality of the teamwork on ball. Like they had not necessarily an individual contributor who was incredibly great, but the
Teamwork.
The sum was bigger than
The sum is
whole
bigger than the parts.
The sum of the parts.
Absolutely.
With Wilt's case, it's like he had some talent, but all the pieces didn't mesh in an optimal fashion.
Right.
So yeah.
Let me throw this one at you. Why do you right now? We love talk 2025. Boston Celtics. Why do you think they get so many wide open threes? Think about it. It's called ball movement.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm like, is that?
It's called ball movement. In
That's
other
all over the
words,
league, right?
when they keep that ball moving, the players can't. When you have
Well,
great
another
ball
factor, too.
movement, you can't keep up as a defensive player. You can't keep up with ball movement.
There's one other factor. They play 5 out. So this is why Dallas had no shot versus them. And I told people that going into that final, I was like, the one problem you have with your defensive strategy is you're playing a team that's playing 5 out. There's no guy hovering around the rim.
Nope.
So Horford's just going to sit out there and do this. Let's go to the other end. Let's go to the other end. Let's go to the other end.
Well, why is people getting tired of that?
Perfect example. Okay, when Boston play Philly, when Embiid is there, right? They say, well, they can't guard Embiid. But between Horford and Pachingas, they make Embiid have to go out to the 3-point line where he don't want to go. Horford gets wide open threes, and it's the same thing. It's like if they were to play, if everybody say, well, Laker fans, well, Jackson Hayes didn't play last night. It wouldn't have mattered because Jackson Hayes would have had to guard Horford, and Horford was going to be out at the three-point line. And Hayes was going to have to go out there.
So there was not going to be any
And
shot
guess
blocking
what?
either way it
Tatum and Brown would have been a layup line. It was
Warriors
had the
gonna
same
go
layup
three.
line you had last night.
And that's what I try to get Laker fans to understand.
What's wrong with that Laker fan? How come they never listen to you?
Because they're delusional.
Oh, okay.
Because they don't understand Minnesota doesn't exist in California.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. These people
Well,
live
we
in
won
a
5 in
dream space.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's in Minnesota.
Listen,
Ben's right.
listen.
Part of the concept is don't let the ball hit the ground.
No,
It was
they
to
keep
pass
the
it.
ball moving. They keep
Perfect
the
ball
moving.
movement is nobody dribbles and it gets up and gets into the basket.
Right. And when we talk about Laker fans just in a general sense, the main argument they will always have is how many rings do we have? How many rings do you got? And that's where it starts and that's where it ends.
Can I elaborate on that one?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. See, part of that is your first owner, Donald Sterling. Donald Sterling wasn't
Or the
interested
Clippers.
in
That was
winning.
Clippers. That was Clippers.
Clippers.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Clippers.
Clippers,
he ruined the
right?
Clippers,
Yeah, okay.
Donald Sterling wasn't trying to win with the Clippers. The Clippers was nothing but a tax write-off to Donald Sterling, number one. Now, they put it like this here. Clippers now got a boss for an owner. That was his money that built the Intuit Arena. Wasn't no taxpayer money. Lakers didn't pay. The Buss family didn't pay for crypto. Taxpayers did. Okay? So my thing is this here. If Bomber paid all that money for the Intuit Dome, Bomber is going to put a product out there on the court. You guys are blessed to have Bomber as an owner because before it's all said and done, they might not catch the Lakers in championships, but they're going to win this year.
It's just not
But
going to
the
be the
Clipper-
next 2 years because he, for some reason, chases James Harden and Ben Simmons.
Okay,
But
they're going to fix that for you, bro. But listen.
Well, I mean,
listen-
if you put that whole
He
team
also owns the
together,
farm as well.
huh?
He owns the farm.
If you put
Yeah,
that
he
whole
owns the
team,
farm,
he
yeah.
bought the farm.
He owns
He
the
bought
farm.
the farm. Why?
bought
I
the
don't
farm to get
understand
rid
why
of the competition.
Bomber didn't buy the. Why did Bomber buy the farm?
for using it for entertainment, right? What he's doing now.
Right. Basically, if I go, he uses it as another way to actually make more money
Yes,
because
sir.
they still have concerts. I think they still have like a Sunday sermon over there as well. So it's like
Oh, it's a beautiful
he uses
investment.
it as an entertainment form because Kendrick Lamar last year had his concert over there during Juneteenth.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was a good business move, though.
Yeah,
Right,
no,
so-
it's a great
The pop
business
out there.
because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
public
the
can
pop out.
control who goes to Intuit and who goes plays in the forum.
That's true.
That's it.
And the thing about what you said about the Lakers are still paying rent. They don't have a
home.
facilities on their own.
That's
But the
what I just
Clippers,
said.
Right. That's
but
what
the Clippers own their own building.
That's why I say you guys are blessed to have him as your owner. Because any man who can pay for his own arena is a man that's going to put a product out there.
That's
He
true.
ain't trying to leave no time soon when he done built his own arena. So
As long as he's
just
healthy.
as long as he's healthy.
Okay.
Like I say, y'all see the Laker fans. They always
We
they
just need
always want to throw
GM
this
now.
up, throw this up, throw this up, and then it's like even with the Boston thing. Boston won 18 championships in Boston. You won 13 championships in LA, and you're trying to steal Minnesota's championships and say you
No,
have just as many
they
as
won
Boston.
12, right?
Is it They won 5.
12. Yeah.
They won
12.
I think.
12.
12.
Minnesota.
Yeah, let's get that number right. man,
Yeah,
'cause,
12.
You know, we want to make sure that number
And
is
then
right.
one of them is the bubble, and,
Well,
they'll
yeah,
they'll argue with you. Oh, the bubble counts. The bubble counts.
That's why we call that the Mickey ring because
Thank
that
you.
was
Someone slipped him the Mickey.
But okay, of course, this is it. I found out that it's more Laker haters in LA than it is in Boston.
That's interesting.
Think about that.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. If you say anything negative about the Lakers, we could talk about the game all day long and just be realistic in what we're saying, right? Okay? And you say anything negative about the Lakers, oh, you a hater. You a hater. That all the time. You can't say nothing against the Lakers and not be called a hater. It is what it is.
That's what you want to be called.
Yeah, but I'll go back, Johnny. I remember a few years ago, I think you told me you were in Boston or something for some reason.
I went to Boston.
You went to Boston for something, and you appreciated the atmosphere of the fans there. And there was an air of being a Celtic fan that you could recognize. Yeah. You don't find that in L.A. at all.
They front runners.
When they're not in the playoff, they
disappear.
Everything gone.
There was a fan.
That's my point. That's my point. There's basketball fans, and then there's Laker fans. And it's just like Charles was saying. OKC and Cleveland been balling for 6 months. Yep. 6 months they've been balling.
Can't even hear from them.
Okay? These guys had a great 2 weeks. But let's put it like this.
Sorry, Grant, I'm going to correct you. They had a great 8 games.
Okay,
I'm not sure because last night they didn't have a great night.
Yeah, but my thing is, and I ask Laker fans this, and they get mad. Well, this was before Luka. Okay. My question is, for Lakers, what's your record against OKC? What's your record against Denver? You 1-1 with Denver. You 0-1 with OKC. You guys haven't even played the top teams in the West. You 0-2 against Houston. Let's call it like it is. You 0-2 against Houston. Houston don't have no superstar, but they got a bunch of scrappers. The Rockets.
I would say the Rockets, they have history in the making. I would say Jalen Green is a superstar in the making.
But not there yet.
Right, but he has that potential. The rookie that they drafted,
Oscar Thomas.
Yeah. Oscar Thomas. And then their center that they got last.
Sengun.
Yeah. Sengun. So it's like they have a squad, and then you're being coached by Udoka.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't forget Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks is a scrapper, but it's just like, would I call him a difference maker?
Dylan Brooks is. See, here's the thing about Dylan Brooks, right? And this is what I say: they can put him on LeBron or Luka. Dylan Brooks, that is, right? So I mean, while we talking, like I say, the Lakers don't have a big.
Meanwhile, Zion Williamson was eating Dylan Brooks alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Zion is 280.
Yeah.
But my thing is with Dylan Brooks, he's a LeBron agitator, and you can put him on either LeBron or Luka. And the whole thing is, like I said, if I'm playing Luka, you want to bring the ball up, we picking you up full court every time. Every time.
It worked yesterday.
I knew they was going to do that between Jaylen Brown and Holiday.
Right.
I mean, they're going to pick him up full court. And that's exactly what they did.
Well, let me just throw this in. We're all talking about LeBron and everything.
Right.
Is LeBron going to be a better player next year than he is this year?
Well, with the HGH, he will be.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, with normal situations, or the year after, he's not somebody to build a team on. Well, he's only going to deteriorate, no matter who he is. I mean, he's a great.
That's why they orchestrated the Luka trade.
That's why they got Luka.
That's why they orchestrated Luka. I seen that coming a mile away. I was with you on that. I said they know LeBron getting ready to retire. They gotta do something.
Right, but if someone was to say that the Lakers were going to get Luka, literally everyone would say, "Get out of here, Mike. You're joking." Because literally, when I saw that trade happen on a Saturday,
I thought it was April.
Even I was like, "Wait a minute, hold on." ESPN had to have gotten hacked because ain't no way that they facilitated that trade, and then they tried to do the Charlotte trade, and then that got rescinded because of questionable. antics that were.
That's funny because that dude they was trying to trade for from Charlotte,
Mark
he's
Williams.
been averaging over 16 points and 10 rebounds a game since the trade got rescinded.
Right, and that was because they were trying to say, oh, in fact, there were injuries that like y'all didn't list.
He didn't miss. He ain't missed not one game since the trade was rescinded.
Exactly.
Mark Williams.
Exactly.
I think somebody stepped in and stopped that one.
Okay.
Because why else? Because the Lakers need a big. But my thing is this: for what you gave up to get Mark Williams, why didn't you just keep AD and let him go to the 4 and then go get Mark Williams? Because the Lakers needed a superstar. That's why.
So they got a superstar now.
Yep.
That's why.
They got a
Let's
superstar.
rephrase
and-
that. Do they need a superstar or do they need a big, giant draw?
Same thing.
That's it.
Well,
That's what a superstar is.
yeah,
Same
but-
thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head. Hugh was the same. We saying the same thing on that one.
Because literally, their centers are technically Jackson Hayes and Trey Jamison III.
Who had ever heard of Trey Jamison III?
Hey, don't be talking about my family. Hold on now.
Is he akin to you?
So he's the third,
we talking about
Jameson
my
third,
family.
Trey third, Jameson the third.
That's a legitimate question. Who even heard of Jamison before the AD trade?
This is first season.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So when AD was here, he was at the end of the bench.
Mm-hmm.
That tell you everything you need to know. Now he's getting major minutes.
Yeah, because they technically have 4 centers, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. It's just like they don't play like they do. So
Didn't they get Alex Lynn?
yes, Alex Lynn.
That's not a positive.
And Christian Coloco. I have no idea who that is.
See.
I'm like,
What's-
who is this Christian Coloco? Second round. Oh wow, he wow. That's how you know he ain't nothing, because literally he was a second round pick 2022 from Toronto. He's literally done nothing.
So the playoffs will be a revelation. More punches from Carson.
Yeah.
For the Lakers, please prove to me that these guys can make shots under pressure. And okay, cool. But pressure makes diamonds out of coal, or crushes steel.
Right.
I'm thinking you don't have people on that team who've proven they can do it.
I will say this: it'll definitely be interesting when we get down these next 2 weeks, because let's see how they play when it's just Luka.
Okay.
They gonna
I want to look at their schedule.
they gonna get worked in Milwaukee and Denver this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling that.
How many games in the next 2 weeks are they home, and how many games away?
Let me actually pull that up for you, just so that you can have that. So,
I think they're on the road.
yeah.
They're on the road this week.
Yeah. This their road trip, because their road trip begins tomorrow against Brooklyn.
They're hurting.
So
No, it began last night when they took their ass whooping by Boston.
Yeah.
When Hugh was there and flew all the way out here to do the show today.
Yeah, no, you wasn't.
Yes, he did.
You wasn't there.
You told me you won't be late.
Okay. So they have a 4-game road trip, which started yesterday against Boston.
Right.
They got 3 more games coming up at away. They got Brooklyn, Milwaukee, then Denver. Then on the 16th, they're back out here for a 5-game homestand. Again, where it's Phoenix, San Antonio, Denver again, Milwaukee again, and then Chicago.
So
They can win most
so
of those,
so
yeah.
so check this out. And that 5-game
No
homestand,
Okay.
you say Chicago, Phoenix. Phoenix. It depends on what side of the bed they wake up on.
Right. So
Okay.
it's Phoenix, then you got San Antonio, then you got Denver, then you got Milwaukee, then they ended off with Chicago.
See, so let's say
And the Phoenix and San Antonio, that's a back-to-back.
which one? San Antonio and who?
Phoenix. Phoenix is on the 16th. San Antonio's on the 17th.
Without Wemby.
Then you got Denver on the 19th, and then Milwaukee on the 20th.
They're going to lose.
They're gonna lose both of them.
And then you got Chicago to end it off on the 22nd.
They might beat Chicago.
Michael Jordan ain't walking through those doors.
They at best would be lucky to break 500.
Whoa.
For the
I
next
would
8
say
weeks.
this.
But
The next,
That's
not 8
That's
weeks,
5
next
games,
8
right?
games.
I will say this: out of the, let's see, 1, 2,
6
3,
games.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games
Right.
that are coming up for them, which is 2 weeks worth of basketball.
Right.
I can say they at most can win at least like 2 or 3 of those.
Whoa.
That's
I'm
gonna be a
saying they're
split
gonna
from
lose.
2 to
I'm saying they're gonna lose both games at Milwaukee and at
both
Denver
games at
this
Denver.
week.
Yep.
I'm saying they're gonna lose both games against Milwaukee and Denver when they go home. Okay,
That's the 500.
That's 4 right there. I'm saying right now, I'm making a bold prediction: the Lakers lose all 4 of those games.
Okay.
And I'm agreeing with you. That's what I'm saying. The most they're going to win is 3. They have 3 winnable games. So
Okay.
Well,
three,
if they had
3
won
wins,
3, they'd lose 5.
5 losses.
So I got a question. When
Come
they
on, we got
play
2 minutes, y'all.
Okay,
We got
With
2 minutes. Let's go.
With LeBron being out against Milwaukee on Thursday, who's guarding Giannis?
Hachimura.
Hachimura's out too.
If he's
Oh,
available.
God.
Otherwise, good luck, Dalton Connect.
Okay, y'all, listen, we got to get up out of here. Thank you for being a part of our first Laker Hater Only show. Identify yourself, please.
You from Boston.
Van Douglas, #1 Laker hater.
More punches from Carson.
Rashid the engineer.
Hey, I'm the host of this madness. I started this by checking these 2 cats out, man. These 2 dudes, they are the reason we're here. The #1 Laker hater, Hugh from Boston. That's all it takes. They do this kind of stuff. You got that song, boy? You got that song? They got this kind of stuff.
I forgot about that.
I did too.
Yeah,
I did
they
too.
forgot about this. This is what
For a
started
long
it
time. Yeah, let's give them
all.
something right.
This is
Let's do
what
this
started
right
it
now.
all. This is the stuff.
Most wonderful time of the year.
This is what started it all between these 2 guys.
The haters are
And the
happy.
haters are so happy. They have their own show now. How cool is that? We'll see y'all next week from 4 to 6. Don't forget, Mama Gordon's on from 3 to 3:30. The Zoom Church on from 3:30 to 4. And after that, Laker Haters Only. Tune in next week. We're out of here. Thank you.
Let the haters hear. It's the most wonderful time of the year.